Hey guys, Joe with Carmel Karate. I know it's been a hot minute, but today we're going over a remote start and the steps to figuring out if your car is capable of doing a remote start. And then I'm going to walk you through the install in this 2017 Chevy Cruze. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hope you guys enjoy this video and learn something about the process from beginning to end with remote starts and how you can do this at home. Step one is identifying if your vehicle is capable of a remote start. We're going to link this page into the comment section down below or right below the video. That way you have access to this and you can see if your vehicle is capable of doing a remote start. For this one, we have already pre-wired it, but I want to take you through the steps. So step one, identify. We're going to go to make, we're going to go to Chevy, exact year, 17, which if you don't know the year, go off your VIN, not the production date, but the VIN, because the VIN is going to tell you the exact software that the vehicle has. It may say 17, but it could have 18 software or vice versa. So once we get that, we're going to go to model, and it is a Cruze, and then we're going to select the trim. We have multiple trims here. This is why it's very important when you call up to us or any other company. Make sure you have the year, make, model, and if it's a push start, a standard key, a flip key, so on and so forth. This one is a flip key automatic. So for 99% of vehicles, you're going to be looking at the CompuStar or ComBlade AL, or you can go with the First Tech high current or low current DC3. DC3 has way more options, but for simplicity's sake, for 99% of people with 3-tap or one-way remote start, we're going to use the ComBlade AL. If you're wanting two-way or drone or security, this will vary. If you want to keep everything all in one, do the DC3. If you want to kind of go a little bit above and beyond and have a ton of customability, talk to your installer, see what they can do for you. They have different brains as a CM900, so this is not a alarm system. They make a 900 AS, and they also make a CMX and a DC3 and tons more. And the reason why this is important to talk to your installer is because these have tons of different features that can be acquainted to you, the consumer, that this one cannot do, and vice versa. So make sure you have all your ducks in a row on what you want out of the remote start. For this, we just want it to start the car and stop the car. Nothing fancy. So we chose a CM900. We go over here and it tells us, oh hey, keys required for programming. This means I only need one key. I don't need two keys. Fords, you have to have two keys for programming. The other thing, keys required for installation. Talking to you, BMW, Volkswagen, and Audi, you have to lose a key. If it says one key required for programming and one for installation, be prepared to lose a key. Or talk to me and I've got other ways to where you don't have to lose a key, but that's another video. Once we hit download guide, we're gonna come here, and this is for the installers. You're going to be able to come through here and you're going to see exactly what wires go where and what they're doing. So Cruze, flip key, automatic transmission. We're on install type 4, and I think they have a total of 20 different install types. And then all these little dots up here, it'll tell you what the remote start can do and is capable of doing. Obviously the dot says yes, no dot means no. Flip keys, you cannot do 3-tap, lock, lock, lock. So we have to add remotes and antenna to this. So now that we've got our install guide, we're going to go ahead and grab the parts that we need. This is new start, and I will tell you right now, between new start, let me grab it. This is your Blade AL, which you also need for your mobilizer data bypass. But between the new start and the Arctic start, they are the exact same brain. The only thing that's different is a little remote that says the name on it. Don't let somebody try and sell you on a specific CompuStar, a specific Arctic start, or new start, saying that it's
better quality remote starter.
All you're paying for is a remote. So when we open this up, we're going to get quite a few things. Some vehicles you can use T-harnesses for. There's a list. I'm going to throw it away. So inside your box, you're going to get your nice little warning label that this has a remote start on it, some new start stickers or CompuStar or First Tech, whatever it's going to be, specific brand. And then you're going to have your little cheat sheet on what the buttons do, and then also a cheat sheet on programming and functions, and then your wire codes as well. I highly recommend that you have a certified installer install this on your vehicle and do not attempt this on your own, because everything is data and can be damaged very easily. And also you need to be a dealer to be able to program blades. If you own like a 1990 Ford F-150 or a Chevy, you don't need this. It doesn't have a mobilizer on it. But here's your main wire harness. This has everything you need as far as 2 hots, ignition, accessory starter, ground, accessory 2, and positive lights. And then all your other wires here for your horn, locks, lights, negative lights, brake, door triggers, tack, so on and so forth. Your antenna wire, that is. The antenna that comes with it, this one's a one-way, so nothing fancy. And then your 2 remotes, and then your remote start. This is the brain. If we flip it over, you've got this port, slide that out, and you're gonna open this up. This comes with a Blade AL, which is the immobilizer piece. Open that, slide that on in, and then you also have another wiring harness for the blade itself. So you're going to take all of this and plug it into here and then pre-wire for your specific vehicle. Once we plug this in, you're going to grab your flash piece. We go to the WebLink updater, which I have already programmed, but I will forget this and quit the process and redo it just for your guys' sake. So once we come here, we're going to update this module here so it's on the latest firmware, and then we're going to go to configure the blade. We're going to configure new module, do Chevy, we got a 17, we're going to go cruise, flip key automatic, bypass DL, and then iData link 2-way, and then we're going to choose the software that goes onto it, and it says clone. What that means is whenever we got done flashing this for the first time, we got all our features. We've got the blade, the information, the firmware, and that it's a clone. And then the vehicle itself, and then the controls. Tells you it cannot do 3-lock start. Understood. That's pretty dang smart. It knows exactly what's going on. So if it's giving you an error, look up the error on their site. And then it's going to give you this screen. We're going to unplug it. Now we've already pulled up the install guide, so we go here, pre-wire it. This is how we want it to look after we're done pre-wiring. We're going to take this over to the vehicle, install it, and then go to programming procedure. And once we do that, well, you'll see. All right, so unfortunately I picked the hardest freaking vehicle to do right now on a Chevy. Usually Chevys are fairly simple to take apart because of the Chevy Cruze and how fancy they want to get with some of the stuff. I got to take all of this apart to get access. We need to get access to the BCM, and that's where we're going to be mainly is right here. The BCM is behind this piece. When you get in here, you're going to want a couple things. I like to use these vice grips or the vice grip brand mechanical strippers. I've got some flush cuts. I got my nice little pry tool here. And then I've also got Super 33 Plus tape. This is 3M. Do not use the white tape. The white tape is absolute junk. And you also want to use some Tesa tape here to make your install look pretty. Do not use T-taps. Do not just tap it in there and there you go, it's done. You want to make this look as clean as possible because if this vehicle ever goes to the dealership, if they see the rat's nest of an install, first thing they're going to say is that it's the remote start's fault and nothing works. So when you get in here, there's one plug for the remote start. There's 2 plug. Oh man. And there's 3 plug. And then I know you guys can't see it, but from my view, there is a little retaining clip here. If I can get this retaining clip out. Sometimes if I can't get it out and it's got a zip tie from factory through it, I'll take it off and then run my own zip tie back through the retaining clip. That way it looks as factory as possible. There's nothing wrong with doing so. Just make sure whatever you're doing it with integrity and doing it proper. Aftermarket gets a bad rap because they see a lot of T-taps coming through. Nothing wrong with T-tap. T-tap does its job and it functions. But when it comes to looking professional, no. First thing they're going to say is that it's the T-tap's fault. So now that I got my room to work with, I'm going to cut this back, cut that back, and I'm even going to cut this back. That way I have access to my wires. And you can also use what is called a seam ripper. If anybody's into fabric or upholstery, a seam ripper works wonders if your seam ripper is not broken like mine. And if you're doing it this way like I am, please, please, please be careful. Do not go through here and just shove the whole blade in there, because you will cut a wire, and God forbid you cut a wire that is a airbag wire or a very sensitive data wire. Well, let me know how that bill works out for you. You have to have attention to detail whenever you're doing this. When you look at the type of install and it looks as OEM as possible, it really speaks wonders. When you're doing this, take your time, make it look good, do it with integrity, and if you're not going to do it with integrity and make it look right, I don't see a point in doing it at all. Alright guys, so I got this pulled up, and I'm going to start with the white plug. And I've already got this taped up here, so my wires are going to be ran, and then cut the length and then tapped into. And then later, once I'm done programming and everything, we'll hide this up underneath the dash, run it with factory wires, and then hide it, make it look all nice and pretty and factory. Always ground your unit. Make sure it's a good solid ground and it's not going to be some weak ground. And then we're going to run this wire along. This is how I do it. Everybody has their own methods. As long as you works and you're perfected that method, that's what works best for you. So I want to put my thumb here. That tells me that's where I'm going to cut. That's my length of wire. And this is where my sheathing should be cut and come off. Okay. So now when I come down here, should be a perfect match, and then I'll be able to bring this through and wrap this nice and tight. Others like to do the poke and wrap method, but as long as you are using a method that works for you and that you've perfected, it'll hold. Once I got it grounded, now I can start hooking up everything else. That way we don't backfeed ground into any of these wires. So if I hook up hot first and I start hooking up all these other wires, I risk ground being pulled through one of these wires, and it can possibly damage your data, your CAN high, CAN low, RxTX, your immobilizer, all sorts of stuff. So first thing first, always ground your unit. Alright guys, so I've got everything finished up here. I've got it taped up with factory wire. So now it's time to plug everything back in and then get into our programming. Oh, Lord have mercy. So now we are left with just this hanging down the bottom, and then we'll run it, make it look pretty, but got to do some programming. Swap sides. Alright, so on that same install guide, I've got pulled up my phone here. You slide all the way to the bottom. This is the programming procedure. We're going to close driver door and reopen door to wake up data bus. If you don't mind, close that door for me, cameraman. I'm going to reopen that. Cool. So now it's reset. And the other thing we want to pay attention to is that little light that's going to pop up down here. We're going to flip key into the ignition, turn it on, wait. It turned red. We're going to turn it off. Remove. Light turns off. Plug this in. Turn on. Blue is flashing. Move this. And now back to the computer. Grab it from here. Good night. Real quick, comment down below your vehicle that you want to see in the next video and the mobile electronics install that you would like to see and learn more about. This helps us provide better service for you guys and helps the community understand mobile electronics better. And if there's anything we miss, please comment down below so we can help everyone out. Thank you. All right, and take this, plug her on in here. So now we're going to go back to WebLink Updater, and then we're going to hit continue extended programming. So while this is doing its thing, what's happened is it copied the code off of the key. It read the resistance, the little micro, the microchip. What it's done is it copied the key information. So right now we're sending it online. It's going to decrypt that code, and it's going to go back into the car, and then we're going to teach it again one more time with the key. And once it's done, it now has the information of the key, so we can start the car and power everything and think that the key is inside the car. Now we do have safety features to where the car can't be stolen, but for simplicity's sake, this is what it'll do. So what we're going to have to do, plug this back in, and I'm also going to have the cameraman shut the door and reopen the door once again for me. Alright, Gonna put this in, turn it on, got a solid blue light, turn off. Programming is done. From here, what we gotta do left is just run the antenna wire, hook up the antenna on the top of the windshield, and we're good to go. Make it look like factory. Give them a piece of equipment to enjoy not only winter long, but summer long as well. Keep it cool, keep it hot, keep it comfortable all year round. So now that you know the process of the install, you can see the integrity. When you go to your installer, whoever you're having it installed by, get the before and after pictures, see what their work looks like. And if it uses T-taps, don't do it. The T-tap is a huge hot topic simply because of packet loss and a ton of technical things that go with it. Other than that, guys, this is done. I've obviously got to put it back together. Make sure to stay tuned, stay up to date, make sure to subscribe so you can see all our videos that are coming out, and to hopefully learn something new that you've never learned before. Until then, have a wonderful day, guys.